A great example is my son. He's a professional wake surfer, and that's his passion. And he's building a business around that. But there's days where just because wake surfing is his passion doesn't mean that he's not getting his ass handed to him. It doesn't mean that there's parts of his business that he doesn't love. And I think when we go into that, there's a couple farces that I think we've done a bad job of as mentors and coaches. And this is one of them. And I love that you hit it. It's passion. Another one is, passive income, because the reality is, like, I love real estate. I'm a real estate guy, but the reality is very little is passive. And so we get into these things where follow your passion or, find passive income. And there is legitimate passive income, but the reality is most of this are sales pitches. And when you touch on that passion piece, I think I agree with you. That's set up for failure because you're going to have some shitty days. If you're following your passion, I don't, if it's cabinet making or blanket making or wake surfing or whatever it is, finance doesn't matter. You're going to have some crappy days and crappy months and crappy years where you're like not passionate about, the actual thing itself. And you got to power through that.
100%. I think that one thing is interesting. So my passion now, well, even historically, it really isn't tied to, I think when people talk about passion, they talk about like the product or service, right? Mm-hmm. The last business I was in payments, right? I'm not passionate about payments, and I don't really know who is, because that's kind of weird, right? Yep. But I really liked the business model. I liked my business partners. I liked the staff. I liked my role of leadership. I liked the consolidation in the space. I liked the multiples on exit. So I was very passionate about all of these components. What we did was immaterial to me, right? It could have been, well, we handle medical records digitally, or, we do this or that. I didn't really care about that. Mm-hmm. So when you look at passion, it's important to decipher, well, what is it? Because it doesn't necessarily mean the product or service is something that you're like, oh, I go to bed, and I just dream about, Visa and MasterCard, like you don't think about it like that. You look at all of the components, and sometimes on the peripheral that are very important to, that full kind of comprehensive look at what makes you excited to wake up in the morning.